Working. Well, a Fox News business alert, and would you look at this? The Dow Jones Industrial Average is now up 303 points on the news that they are getting close to something, at least in Washington. No bill yet, but they're at least talking about lifting the debt ceiling and eventually putting the government back to work. But they're not even really seriously talking about that yet. More now on the potential progress in solving the D.C. deadline. One GOP lawmaker says he agrees with the president that the United States cannot risk hitting the debt ceiling and defaulting on its debts. Other Republicans claim the Treasury Department could move money around to prevent a default. The Oklahoma Congressman Tom Cole was in today's meeting of House Republicans. Congressman Cole joins us now live from Capitol Hill. Congressman, good afternoon and thank you.
Great to be with you.
I hear there was a lot of division in there.
Not so much as you think. I think there were a lot of questions and certainly different points of view, but quite honestly, I think the conference is awfully united behind what the Speaker will propose to the President when they meet.
That's not what I heard, Senator, with great respect.
Well, I was in the room.
Okay.
I was in the room, and I can tell you there's a lot of support.
It's not true, then, that some Southern senators think that this is a fight worth keeping up?
I can't tell you about Southern senators. This was a meeting of House members. We did not meet with any senators.
I'm sorry. I meant representatives.
No, honestly, there were some questions raised, actually from both the left and the right. Some people want to move faster, some people want to move slower, but I think it was very clear in the room that the leadership had very broad support, and there was consensus behind what the President wants to do.
What is it that Republicans...
what Speaker wants to do.
What is it that Republicans are hoping to get here?
I think a negotiation. The Speaker's been very clear about that. He wants the President to agree to sit down, have a serious discussion about the long-term drivers of the debt and deficit, and see if there's some way to address those problems. Where I'm glad both sides have agreed clearly is they don't want to put the faith and credit of the United States at risk. And I think that was a strong signal about that today. I think the Speaker also said when we sit down, one of the things we'll be talking about, obviously, is reopening the government. So I think that gives the President more than enough room to move toward it.
Congressman Cole, I wasn't aware that reopening the government was part of the discussion at this point or part of a proposed bill.
No, it would just be one of the certainly not part of a proposed bill. This is about getting a negotiation underway, and the Speaker said, look, the things that you saw in Paul Ryan's op-ed editorial yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, obviously when you've got a government shutdown, you're going to talk about how you get it back open and what are the ways to do that. And then I think there's a possibility down the road, once you get into long negotiations, to eventually work in tax reform. So this could be the beginning of a process that goes on several weeks, perhaps a couple of months, and ends really in a very substantial deal and something that moves us past this debt ceiling and CR crises.
Why is the government shut down?
Well, frankly, half of it's not. You know, we actually never shut down the defense and civilian defense workers. There was some confusion about that at the Pentagon. Essential personnel are still at work. We've guaranteed everybody their pay. So I actually agree, I suspect, with the point you're making. To me, we ought to be bringing people back to work sooner rather than later.
Of course, that's changing. The more and more people are going away each day. A headline from the Christian Science Monitor today. Government shutdown forces 90% of staff cut at Nuclear Regulator, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. The agency had been able to skirt the government shutdown by using carryover funds, but those funds have run dry. That's happening in agency after agency after agency across the country. And along the way, the polls are changing. The Gallup organization since 1939 has been asking an open-ended question of Americans each year. What's the biggest problem in the United States? This year, more people said the government than at any time in the history of this country. And in addition, the lowest Republican approval ratings in recent history were in 1999 when they impeached Bill Clinton. That was 32%. Now you're at 28%. Are you concerned about your party, given what we're seeing?
Well, look, I'm concerned about the country. I represent a district that's got a lot of civilian defense workers in it, and a lot of wonderful men and women in uniform, other federal facilities, a lot of contractors. So I've always been an opponent, honestly, of shutting down the government. I don't think we had to get here. I think if the President had been willing to sit down and negotiate earlier, I think the Speaker's offered him a way that both sides can come together and begin a productive negotiation. I hope he takes it at 4:30.
Congressman Tom Cole will be watching. Thank you, sir, very much. Up next, the other side, we'll talk to Maryland Democratic Congressman John Delaney. We'll bring in Dana Perino as well to talk about the bigger state of the government in the United States at this point. This is Shepard Smith reporting from the Fox News Desk. It's nice to have you with us.